the general manager of the Los Angeles Rams. Les Snead here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Les?
I'm good. How about y'all?
I'm
what
good.
Are y'all debating?
I'm hearing that not only the entire schedule has been leaked, but so have the results of the 2023 season. Do you have the results of the season in front of you too, Les, right now?
You know what? No one's told me our record yet, but
okay.
You know that's where we're at. Fast forward, I can tell you how. You know, the ebbs and flows. Like, wow.
Okay.
Can't believe we finished that.
Congrats.
Early congratulations, Les. I don't know if you're aware, but congrats are in order.
Chat GPT is now doing our season.
Wow.
So you have your schedule, right? You've seen it? I'm not going to ask you the details, but you have seen it, right? You've seen your schedule?
It's interesting. I was just chatting with Sam Farmer. He's doing a behind-the-scenes on schedule. And,
okay.
And it's funny. You know Kara, my wife.
I do.
I will get in trouble because technically, yes, Kevin has texted the schedule.
Of course.
To myself, Sean, and a few other people that really need it.
Okay.
I've not even mentioned it to Kara, and I really don't necessarily know who we play or when we play people. I'm now in the text chain. I've now come to gather that we play these two teams first and second and things like that. But I don't necessarily. I'm not as passionate about. Oh, we now play this particular team on this particular date. At least at this phase.
But you must be looking for what? Bye weeks, multiple weeks in a row that you might be on the road, short weeks, things like that? Is that what you're checking out?
That's what ends up coming down the pipe, and you begin again at that point. You begin talking to athletic performance on if you have short weeks, how do you schedule that week, and how do you travel per se. So there's a lot of nuanced details. One of the hardest things a team, our club has to accomplish is when you do get a date and you're traveling is now seeing in a particular city, there could be a couple of major conferences going on. And now let's call it your top 2 hotels are booked. And now you may have to settle for hotel 3 or 4, which is obviously not. So it's like going on vacation and you now are, you're just not at your favorite hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to suffer through that per se. So
understood. That's why you see these details are why you're called a general manager, not a specific manager. You know what I mean? Like you are generally managing things, Les, and that's why you're one of the best in the business. We just got a little bit of a glimpse right here. I've got the GM of the Los Angeles Rams, Les Snead, here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's just jump in the few minutes I have with you, Les. How's your quarterback? What's going on with Stafford? Ready to roll?
Stafford, he is ready to roll. For where we at May, he is, again, I think the rose of the thorn of last year, he was able to, let's call it rest and relax, and he is probably feeling as good as he's felt in a long time, both, and I would say probably mentally and physically. Anytime you get a break, you get bored, you look forward to coming back and not being as bored. And the neat thing is, because football does require some element of physical skill, that arm and that elbow is feeling really good, and he's throwing the ball very close to like he threw it his pro day. One of the better pro days I'd ever witnessed.
Is that right?
It's definitely that. It was one of the – he's going to go probably top 5, and that's, accuracy and velocity. Only so many people can probably throw a ball that accurate and I guess that fast. Would that be
sure? Sure. So the other roses of the on the thorns. By the way, I liked that analogy very much. Kupp and Donald. How and I guess that's the question a lot of people are having with Aaron Donald is how much is the clock ticking with him, because he was interested maybe in stepping away. I don't know if that was a contractual posture or what have you, but do you feel like you're time's ticking with him, and how much time you have left with him, and how much he wants to play?
I can honestly say, Rich, with him, even so, last year when you're watching, let's call it the 8 to 9 games he played.
Yes.
There was no moment where you looked at Aaron Donald and go, wow, he is slowing down. He was still defeating one-on-one blocks with ease. He doesn't get those often, and he was still disrupting double teams. So I really think with Aaron, it's he's physically gifted enough, works hard enough that he's going to be one of those players that can be disruptive, can be effective as he does age in terms of years on the planet. So there's no, let's call it, noticeable difference in how he plays. Only unfortunate thing for Aaron probably is this first time he's ever had to deal with an injury where he missed, let's call it a significant amount of time. And Aaron will say that, wait a minute, I might not be able to train as hard in the off season because as you do get older, it does take a little bit more time to recover. So I think Aaron's one of those guys that's going to always go, you know what, I want to be a 12 on a scale of 10. And sports science may say, you know what, today you might ought to train at a 6 level. And that's going to help you be that 12 when you need to be a 12 on a scale of a 10.
Sure.
But I think that's what you want in humans. Otherwise, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Les Snead, LA Rams GM here. A few more minutes left with him on the Rich Eisen Show. What's your expectation level for Stetson Bennett? What do you got for me on that, Les?
I can. We really appreciated what he did at Georgia. A lot of things in that. In some of the ways he played QB, he was able to prove that he could find lanes and windows as a shorter QB. He's not the first to do that. We're seeing shorter QBs come into the game. One thing he does have is he has the mobility inside the pocket and actually is fast and athletic enough to be dangerous running the football when he needs to be and selected. Our expectations is this: come in. Look, you don't have to win your third national championship in a row. Here, let's begin becoming the best professional football player you can be and help him evolve to be, initially a contributor as a backup QB. And that's our vision right now.
You think
it's one day at a time with these
sure,
rookies.
Of course.
Obviously, QB from college to the NFL is going to be a tough transition no matter who you are.
But you think can he be Stafford's backup this year? Is that a possible concept
I would say
for him?
on paper that is our vision. That was one of our what we did say coming in. Anytime you go into the draft, you never know with a QB. There's only so many of them, but we did think that it could be very beneficial if we could find a young quarterback to develop as a backup. That way you don't get into let's call it renting QBs for a year. And also with our cap situation, veteran backups do cost more, right, in salary and against cap than players on their rookie contract. So there's a lot of variables in that. But the vision was, hey, let's try to find the best backup QB available. And if we can do that in the draft, that's even more of a benefit to us. If not, we would have pivoted into a different direction.
Well, you also know he's comfortable in your building. That's for sure. My gosh. I think he just scored another touchdown in SoFi from last January. You know that. At least he's comfortable there. So what would you say, a couple more minutes left with Les Snead, general manager of the Rams. What would you say to the notion that you guys are rebuilding? That you might be staring down another rebuild with Donald leaving because he doesn't want to play anymore, and Stafford, we'll see how much he has left in the tank based on what happened last year. That is a general narrative that is mentioned about your team, Les. I'm sure you've heard it, and I'll love to give you the floor on that notion about the team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. What do you got for me there?
Maybe we need to bring in a polling service to somewhat label what we're trying to do. And the one reason I shied away from rebuilding was when you do have a quarterback in Matthew Stafford who's basically a year removed away from helping us win a Super Bowl and in the playoffs actually being a major factor in probably 3 comeback wins, counting Tampa once they made their somewhat miraculous comeback through San Francisco and into the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp was the offensive MVP that year, obviously Aaron Donald. So it's tough to rebuild when you have some of the better players at their positions still on the team. So what I said we needed to do and we thought was best for the team was, right, we did take a step back in terms of how we acquired players and things like that. And we said, okay, maybe this year it's best to utilize our draft picks on younger players so we can grow and evolve. We can utilize this year to engineer a healthier cap situation so that when we do feel an opportunity or there's definitely an opportunity to strike, to attack, to be aggressive. We're definitely capable and have the ability to do that. So that's where we're at. I think we're back to the neat thing is where we're at post, let's call it winning a Super Bowl post, hey, are you going to repeat or not? It's back to fundamental football. And you know what? We're going to get a schedule. Obviously, we already have the schedule. It's going to be announced tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have an opening game. Let's prepare for that opening game. Let's try to do our best on that day. Let's look up the scoreboard and see in the quote of Wade Phillips, we have one more point than the other team. And then at that point in time, you go to the next game and you do the same thing, and it's kind of boring, let's call it sport coach speak, but it's definitely worked for us, over the last 5 or 6 years.
Les, you're the man. Say hi to Kara for me. Tell her I would have already texted her the schedule, but I signed a waiver. The NFL made me sign a waiver, just received the schedule, and I like my gig almost as much as I like being friends with you and Kara, but I can't violate.
I can tell you, Rich, it is fascinating how many people in the world actually will text you and ask you to give them a nugget. You're like, really, of all the asks you get, like, you're really going to ask for a schedule? I mean, don't you think that's a little bit – like, I don't think I might have texted it, I would have never hit send.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's a quicker no from you in the last –
That's just a deleted text.
I was about to say.
That deserves a response.
A little quicker no from you over the last several months. Will you give me a nugget on the schedule, or do you want to trade Matthew Stafford? What's the quicker no that you've gotten in the last 4 months?
You know what? They're both pretty fast. No.
Oh, Les, you the man. Thanks for the call.
Definitely. Always enjoy being on it.
Yeah, right back at you. Thanks for having fun with us as always. That's Les Snead, the general manager of the Los Angeles Rams. Do not call it a rebuild. And by the way, do not sell your tickets for the opener, because I've seen the opener.